Plant Hawke's Bay is a wholesale and contract grower of native plants, poplars and Himalayan oaks. Founder and owner Mari Taylor says a number of new approaches have been adopted to increase capacity and streamline operations following the impacts of February 2023's Cyclone Gabrielle.
We'd moved here in August 2020 and it had previously been a grafted grape nursery, so we redeveloped it for natives. And we had, by the time of the cyclone, I'd just done a stock take. There were 500,000 plants on the ground. We got in here on the Thursday to find that the place was covered in 10 to 20 centimetres of silt. All the plants were either washed away or turned over or covered in silt. And there was lots and lots of infrastructure damage. Most of the water came in the front gate. We had 3.5 to 4.5 metres through the whole site. The most important thing was rescuing the crop. We were really lucky to be able to employ an RSE team that couldn't get work in orchards because of the silt. So they spent maybe 3 weeks here. They were fantastic. And then volunteers just started coming through the gate. It was actually quite overwhelming. And we counted more than 200 volunteer days. They were just tremendous. I can't explain how good they were. Yeah. And we also had the most amazing support from our contractors. At least we got the sprayers fixed so we can do the work here. Got lots of help from a whole range of people, and one of those was Professor Clive Kaiser from Lincoln University, who turned up to teach us about how to manage the crop that was under stress in terms of nutrients and fertilisers and so on, and what we had to do to look after them. That was really beneficial. Can't thank him enough. We've also had help from MB, from an MB grant, and we've had help from the Rural Support Trust, and just lots of people have been incredibly supportive. It's been a year now since Cyclone Gabrielle, and it's been a real team effort. That's the most important thing, is a really good plan. And with my business partners, Rob and Coral Burrow, we really sat down and mapped out what we had to do to rescue the business. It took almost a year until we got all the insurance finalised. There was a total of $1.6 million of damage to the site's infrastructure. And now we've got about 70% of that fixed, which is fantastic. So Kakabeak is the most amazing plant that we grow. There's only 108 left in the wild, and they're only naturally found in Hawke's Bay and Gisborne. And they suffered a real blow in the cyclone as well. Population's been dropping really rapidly. We grow here about 20 different kinds. They've all been DNA tested, so they know where they're from in the wild and how they're related to each other. And a lot of the plants that we grow have disappeared in the wild because they're so edible. They're legumes, they're just delicious. What happened here was the labels washed out of some of them, so then we don't know where they come from. And quite a few died of our parent plants. So there's been a big recovery mission to try and get more Kakabeaks grown since then. We've got 610,000 plants on the ground this year, and that includes about 45,000 poplars, which is a new crop for us. We've got this great database of farmers, and we wanted to offer them a wider selection of plants for their farms. And we've got quite a bit of land extra here, so we thought that poplars would be a really good addition. Also, we can run the poplars, if we grow them as rooted cuttings, through our system, through our potting machine, move them around with our pivot loaders, and so they're an easy addition to what we do. And luckily, the year before the cyclone, we'd planted out a whole paddock of them as mother plants. So we took cuttings off them, and now we're offering them to farmers this year, which hopefully is going to be very timely, because Hawke's Bay landscapes, those pastoral landscapes, need way more trees on them. And where trees have been in place, they've really protected the soils a lot better than just grass. In order for us to expand our nursery and to grow a lot of plants, we need as much automation in our system as we can. One of the things we did first is to put in pivot loaders, because I don't want any of the staff lifting anything. I want all the plants to be moved around the nursery by machine. That's number one. We've got now seed cleaning machines, we've got seed sowing machines, tray fillers, and a potting machine. And they're all incredibly beneficial. They help to speed up the process, make our product more uniform, and make it easier for the staff. Part of that automation has been using a drone to do our spraying, and it's very efficient and safer.
After Cyclone Gabrielle, the nursery was decimated and they needed ways to get sprays on their new poplars as well as a few other plants to ensure they didn't get fungus diseases and stuff like that. So she asked me if it was possible, and it certainly was. It's a really big job for them, but a really small job for us, so it works for both of us, really. The staff don't have to handle the chemicals. We can get specialist contractors to do it before anyone turns up. We're usually leaving by 7 o'clock when the other workers are getting here. So all the chemicals are applied and we're out of there. As far as growth's concerned, until about a year ago, drones were more used for niche sort of work. You do a small area and charge a decent amount, whereas now we can do large scale work. We can easily go and do a 20 hectare area in a few hours now. So growth is starting to become exponential. The larger capacity and the higher pump flow rates of the drones mean we can tackle really big areas in a short space of time and be a really viable option for growers, foresters.
We love having visitors here at the nursery, and we're really central in Hawke's Bay, so it's easy for people to get here. So we have lots of school groups and horticulture groups, and having the Fun Forestry Conference here is just fantastic. It's really lovely to be able to showcase Hawke's Bay plants to them. So looking to the future, the main thing for us is to increase the profitability of the business and recover financially from the cyclone. That's our main focus now.